Let me look at you. Talk about yourself. Try to tell the truth.
Hello again, Vinyl Community. Matt here. A quick video. I wanted to weigh in on the controversy surrounding Paul McCartney's latest song, Fuh You, Fuhyu. The obvious sort of double meaning. Because I've seen quite a few people who have been basically outraged by it, saying it was too suggestive, too explicit. So I wanted to share my thoughts on it. First of all, I think it's actually a great song. I really like it. It's from his latest album, Egypt Station. Putting aside the rather obvious borrowing, shall we say, of the album artwork from George Harrison's Gontropo, I think there's a lot of similarities there. But that aside, it's actually a good album, just as his album New was, which I think was the one before that. So I think it's been a little bit of a return to form for Paul McCartney the last couple of years. But it also, Fuh You is a good song. It is. And all the controversies around just this one little bit right here.
I just wanna fuck you. I just wanna fuck you.
And that's it. And actually, I think it's kind of clever. It's lyrically clever. The little pause right there, you know, the double meaning that comes into play. Look, McCartney's in a way sort of changing with the times a little bit. And I think I detected that a bit on his new album as well. It sounded a little more modern. And the same thing with Egypt Station, and in particular Fuh You. Because it's, you know, you look at chart music nowadays, every other song is about sex. And again, you know, for everyone who's been outraged by how could Paul McCartney do this, I think people forget that both in his solo career, but in particular when he was with the Beatles were no strangers to inserting sexual references in their songs. There's quite a list of them. On the Rubber Soul album, the song Girl has the background vocals of tit 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 being said very quickly. You know, people didn't realize that's what was being said at the time, but yeah. And then Norwegian Wood from the same album as well. You know, come on, let's think about it. On Sgt. Pepper, with a little help from my friends, it contains the lyric, what do you see when you turn out the light? I can't tell you, but I know that it's mine. For a long time, that's considered to be a sexual reference. And then on the White Album as well, the rather more blatantly obvious Why Don't We Do It in the Road, which was written by McCartney. So it's not like this never happened before. It's not like McCartney was a saint his whole life and, oh my God, all of a sudden he's like turned to the dark side. He and Lennon in particular, they wrote about sexual themes. They often disguised it. You know, it was the 60s. You know, people were a little more prudish about that sort of thing. You know, it was not at all unknown for radio stations to block any content, any songs that they considered objectionable. Something that probably still happens, but certainly happened up until the 90s. So, you know, some of the subtle, the references were more subtle, some of them weren't. But yeah, it's not like McCartney suddenly had some kind of huge change. And you know, in the 80s, okay, some of his stuff was a little more syrupy and sugary sweet, and to a certain extent a little bit in the 70s, but definitely by the 80s. But like I said, in the 60s, and I think some of his earlier 70s stuff, there were sexual references all over the place. It's nothing new. I think just get over it. If you don't like the song, then don't listen to it. It's as simple as that, really. So I like Fuh You. I think it's a good track. I think the lyrics are clever, and if it helps McCartney to appeal to younger people, I mean, who I'm sure have heard of him, but maybe, you know, aren't into his music, at least not his recent music. If that helps him find his albums to be more accessible, then I'm all for it. You know, it's not like he's actually swearing in the song. It's just suggestive. It's not a big deal. So that's it. That's just my opinion. thanks as always for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, please go ahead. Would certainly encourage you to do that. If you'd like to click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you will be notified every time I post a new video, which is at least once a week, if not 2 or 3 times a week. And thank you as always for watching, everyone, and until next time, bye bye.